Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good to be with you. I'm Jeff, that's Tom, and a fine Lawn Maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. It's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. You don't have to miss anything, but sometimes you do. We all do. We get busy. Our lives are cluttered. It happens. All 3 hours posted for your convenience then, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault upon the conclusion of the program. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at @JCameronShow. The WTSM app, good for your mobile devices always. Doesn't matter if it's an Android or iPhone, you're good to go. Hey, when's the new iPhone coming out, Tom? You got that one on the top of your head there? You know that one? No?
I'd imagine probably this November or December. Isn't that when they capitalize on these things?
Usually get you then, don't they? You can email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Again, find me on Twitter at @JCameronShow. And, hello, YouTubers. ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube.
You know me, man. I didn't even get an iPhone until the company bought one for me in 2012, and then I didn't get an upgrade until I absolutely had to for some of our software, and that was last year. So I'm not on that, that plan where you can get the upgrade every single time a new one comes out.
Yeah, no, I am. I want my new phone every time it comes out.
Yes, you do. You went from flip phoning to when's my upgrade guy.
Well, I was the guy that didn't want cell phones because I didn't want people to be able to get a hold of me. I don't like people being able to get a hold of me at all times. I've gone on this rant before. I hate it. I actually don't think it's good for any of us that people can always get a hold of you. It's good for emergencies. It's good if your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere. It's good if you have kids and they're of the age where they may be out and about and they need to get a hold of you for some reason. But other than that, I don't need work to be able to get a hold of me at all times, or even friends and family to get a hold of me at all times. Sometimes I like the peaceful, quiet solitude of driving along in my car, listening to music, uninterrupted, with no shot at being interrupted. Right?
I think the one thing that would get annoying, though, given your job and how many people need you for interviews at different radio stations around the country.
Oh, well, you're too kind.
Well, this happens. No, truthfully, what we've forgotten about is how annoying the landline was when it would ring 3 times an hour. We hated that. We got used to it, but that was really annoying.
Yeah, you're right. If somebody if it did happen, you'd go, man, with the calls tonight. But see, the problem is that now nobody does that. I mean, my joke all the time is that old people lived in a world where you had to get the phone when it rang because there was a chance that it was an important phone call, and if you missed it, you missed it. You may not hear from that person again. Could be another month and a half before your sister Tina calls back again. So who knows? You better pick up now. So now that's their mindset. So the cell phone rings. If you're over the age of like 50 and the cell phone rings, people will knock other people over to get to where their cell phone is. The phone's ringing, and I'm always saying, Mom, who cares? So what? They'll leave a message. It's okay. You can just look at what the number is. They'll text you if it's important. They'll get a hold of you. You don't have to get the phone right now. We're in the middle of Publix looking for some food. Don't do that. But old people, that's how they are, technology.
Yeah, but it's the same way with young people, and they get text messages, and their iWatch
because they've
buzzes.
Grown up on that one.
Correct.
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
Hey, wow, it's 3rd and 10 on this play, and you wanted to watch this game all week more than I did, but I feel like I'm watching this game alone. So let's put the phone down.
So, okay, enough about technology and more about how devastated is Georgia Tech today. I mean, if you stayed up and watched this game, well, actually, if you woke up last night late in the middle of the night like I do, maybe you guys don't do that. If you wake up in the middle of the night, as I frequently do, you might check your phone and go, what the hell? How does this happen? Georgia Tech dominated that football game statistically. For a good portion of the game, they dominated physically. And next thing you know, they don't have very good special teams either because their field goal kicker can't get the ball off the ground, and they turn the football over while they're salting the game away. And the next thing you know, you lose a game in double overtime you have no business losing. And that's a toughie if you're Paul Johnson. Had to have figured you had that one wrapped up. Instead, 42-41 Tennessee. I don't care about either team. I don't think either team's all that good. Just noting that had to have been tough.
In watching the game last night, I know Georgia Tech is limited in what it does, and they choose to be limited, and that's fine. But there are some times you could watch Georgia Tech running what it runs, and you say, "Ooh, buddy,
they're good at it.
They're a problem this year."
Yeah, they can be good at it, but in some years they're better at running it, executing it than others. Yes,
they look okay to me. They look okay, but watching West Virginia, Virginia Tech, I thought this is a collection of 2 good teams on this field. Last night, watching that game, I thought, boy. These guys are middling to the lower half in both their divisions and both their conferences. But it's Monday night, and it's the only thing on, so let's watch this. I did quit, though. I tapped out when it was 21-7 in the third quarter.
You thought they had it wrapped?
Oh, I thought, oh, man. With the amount of time left and the way Georgia Tech was eating up time of possession every time it got the ball, I thought, Tennessee, one stop, and this game's over. And it really should have been that way. It was the fumble going in.
Yeah, well, just under 4 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll hurt your feelings. Tough time to fumble.
Don't
After a
fumble
long
there.
run where you get stripped, you know?
That's a Doug Martin special for you.
Oh,
that's what that is.
Don't do that, man. I don't have to worry about him through the first 3 games. But, yeah, and I am quick to spot a Doug Martin fumble. Quicker than most.
That's why I said that.
Quicker than most.
We didn't practice that.
No. Quicker than most.
Your radar is up for Doug Martin.
There it comes.
Man, if we're up 4 with 3 minutes to go every time, every time the ball's about to go right in between the arms, you go, oh.
That whole restaurant knew I spotted a fumble. And the worst part about it, I don't know why I have like X-ray vision when he fumbles. I know who recovered it. I always know exactly who got it for whatever reason because I'm so locked in thinking he's going to fumble because he likes to. And then as soon as I see it, I'm like, 69's got it. Damn it.
In the bar, it was.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
The Patriots fans nodded in approval, though. They said, well, this guy cares about his Buccaneers.
Oh,
I can get down with that kind of gangster.
Well, I stood up and left because I was afraid of some words that would come out in a public.
A couple did.
Well, the initial
That's a fumble, and bleep, bleep, bleep.
I said something, they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were still looking to see if it was a fumble. You're like, that's it. Oh,
I was looking to see about who recovered it.
Yes, definitely.
You could see the scrum. You see the chaos in everybody's body language when that happens.
Oh, I knew it. He kills us. Anyhow, so let's move forward with this today. Again, people kind of decompress, exhale, try to figure out where we're at. I don't think we thought we would be having this conversation after 1 week. Lee is right about that with the local sports center, that we didn't anticipate having to talk about these things with all of these games still to play. And as unfortunate as it is, the reality says we must because the starting quarterback's not coming back this year. And I don't know why. Maybe it was too soon. I mean, I'll grant you that perhaps it maybe felt unsettling to hear yesterday, but we're grown-ups here. We have big boy conversations. I don't think it was insensitive or even odd to speculate about whether or not DeAndre Francois would start a game for Florida State ever again. He may. I gave you my opinion that he wouldn't because I think that James Blackman's going to take this opportunity and make the most of it. And I don't mean that by the end of the game Saturday night you're convinced that we have the next Heisman Trophy winning national championship quarterback at Florida State, but I just think by the season's end you'll think we got us a good one. We're going to be all right. Because he's going to grow, and he's going to get better week to week to week to week. He is afforded that opportunity, knock on wood, that he too doesn't suffer from an injury. But short of that, he's going to get a ton of reps. And in doing so, I think he'll really grow. He's already shown a learning curve that is almost startling to me. I mean, I'm not there at practice every day, so I just have to trust what the head coach is saying. And the head coach is the play caller, and the head coach is a former quarterback. And the head coach doesn't heap praise upon quarterbacks when they don't warrant it. You haven't heard him say that about, say, J.J. Cosentino now, have you? He's been here for years. So he says it about guys that he thinks have a chance to be good, guys that are really showing some promise, guys that have flashed, guys that have shown and asked the right questions, right? Shown the right prowess and asked the right questions. So I just think it will be very interesting. And what it does do is it does infuse the rest of this season with a lot of intrigue in a different way. There was already a lot of intrigue. There was already going to be a lot of interesting storylines just because of the nature of the season, the schedule that they were playing, opening with Bama. Obviously you have a kind of a grudge revenge match against Louisville in the middle of the season. There's always the Clemson game. You have your rivalry game with Miami. You end the year with Florida. You knew the defense was going to be good. A lot of question marks about would they have learned their lesson from the problems a year ago, but they're loaded with talent. So this was already going to be littered with a lot of intrigue. But now it's a different kind of intrigue in many ways, just as somebody covering the team. If you just remove fandom, okay, just remove fandom for a second, you have to admit it's fascinating. What's he going to look like? What's he going to be? On the one hand, Hey, listen, 6'5" is a good thing. Can't teach it. He's just 6'5". You want your quarterbacks to be taller. I know the NFL does. Makes a lot of sense. They can see over the line. He's going to see things that DeAndre Francois couldn't see. We already know from the open practice and from what video we've seen of him at various camps and from what we're able to tell in the in some of the open sessions where they actually got video, he throws a beautiful ball. And everybody says that. That's not just coach speak. The players have talked about what a nice ball he throws. That's kind of what he's known for. And then you also know just by looking at him that he looks like he weighs 150 pounds, so you worry about his health because he's going to get hit. It's football. It's going to happen. But there's a lot of fascination surrounding what can he be and how quickly can he be what they need him to be. And I do think there's some advantageous elements to the schedule that he's about to embark on, and that is that right off the bat, again, we'll see what's going to happen with the weather, and we knock on wood for everybody involved. Football's not that important, I got you. But with Irma looming out there, our concerns for the state and for those in it and the surrounding areas obviously grow greater than that of who wins a football game. Understood. I think we all get that. But if the game is played and you're able to throw the ball around the lot, I think you're going to see Florida State do that quite a bit on Saturday night. And then you have the Miami game, and albeit it's at home, but they too are breaking in a quarterback going against a stout defense on the road. So I don't think he has to score a lot of points is my point. I think you can call it a conservative game. You don't put him in difficult situations. Don't let him lose you the game, okay? You can rely on that defense. Got to fix special teams. All of this is predicated on whether or not you can make some major alterations to your special teams. But if they do that, back-to-back home games against Miami and NC State, two teams that could beat you. If the freshman plays like a freshman and he implodes, you could lose those games. But it's good to have those games at home, one of them at night, with a stout defense. And then we're looking at your first road game as a freshman is against Wake Forest. You get a bye week. Your next road game for a freshman quarterback is against Duke. Not exactly going into, a hellish, nightmarish, sort of surrounding. You've got pretty tranquil surroundings at Wake Forest and Duke before you finally are playing in a game that obviously I think you're going to have to score some points in. Like really, 28, 35, 42 points. Louisville. I love our defense, I do, but Lamar is a special sort of player, and I don't want to assume that even this stout defense is going to shut down Louisville. They'll do better than they did a year ago, but even if they cut it in half or even if they hold them down to, say, 24 points, the young man's going to have to make some plays there. So, but you've got time.
Yeah, you've got time, and you've got all kinds of weapons around him, too. Again, it's taller receivers. It's a Ryan Izzo. George Campbell's now in the fold. For so long we had talked about just the three receivers being the ones this year that we're going to have to carry the day. Well, if Campbell's able to have a pass thrown his way in the first quarter, first drive of the Alabama game, you would say to yourself, he's going to be a legitimate weapon and a legitimate option moving forward. So now you got four receivers at tight end. You like what you have in the backfield from a versatility standpoint. Jacques Patrick is going to become all the more important back there protecting him. Pass protection, third and obvious downs, at the very least, if he's not at least still going to be featured as a 1-2 punch against lesser front sevens than the front seven of Alabama. And then you have an all-world player in Cam Akers. I'm really of the belief that kid is something special, who needs to work on his details. There's no doubt about that. But he's going to be growing right alongside James Blackman. And we think, obviously, at the tailback position, you could still be growing and make game-breaking plays and have game-changing impacts on games because of what the position asks of you, not nearly as much as the quarterback. Details need to get better at special teams, but yeah, I just from a surrounding cast standpoint and what the offensive line proved that it can be in game one of the season, man, this is as good a position as you can thrust a true freshman quarterback into, along with the schedule that you talk about, 3 home games in a row, weather permitting. And again, you say that about this weekend. I get it that the cone of Hurricane Irma doesn't hit South Florida until Saturday/Sunday.
No, but you're going to start making,
This storm is bigger than the state of Ohio in size. I don't know if everybody knows that, if they've checked in on it, but as of this afternoon, 185-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and the storm is larger than the state of Ohio. So that is to say that serious winds can make their way up to Tallahassee well before it makes landfall in the state of Florida, anywhere. So that might affect things about a 7 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. We'll see. We'll see as it goes along.
To that end, by the way, there was a question that came in while we were talking about this very thing, and that is, what if the game is canceled and Blackman's first start is against Miami? Your thoughts on that? we can start really going down a rabbit hole here in terms of speculation about what's going to be canceled, because you're right. There's a lot of talk already, a lot of chatter that involve whether or not the Miami game is straight up canceled. If we're talking about a hurricane that rolls in this weekend, let's say it hits South Florida, are they going to be ready to play a football game the following week? Or is this something where you do note that Florida State and Miami's bye week is the same on the 7th of October? They could agree, just so both schools, and for the state of Florida, and certainly for Miami, if it's hit in South Florida, have an opportunity to kind of get that situated, and there's safety concerns and family concerns and all of the things involved in infrastructure, then maybe you could say, well, let's move that game to the 7th of October. Certainly Florida State fans who are well aware of this rich rivalry remember that October was a kind of a date that we all looked forward to for many, many years in this rivalry.
Yeah, and that's to say nothing of the storm making its way into the Gulf and coming our way.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is still very much on the table. So you're right. It is a rabbit hole, and you can get lost in it for a half an hour if you let yourself. But from a talent standpoint and a schedule standpoint, the way the schedule is laid out right now, at the very least, James Blackman is in as good of a position he can be outside of special teams not helping us with the old field position game.
You're going to need special teams to get a lot better, and there's no guarantees that it will. I think certain elements will. There certain aspects will. Attention to detail and splits and those kinds of things, the way they block it up on punts and field goals and so forth will. But there's no guarantees that Ricky's going to be good, and there's no guarantees right now that a bigger problem seems to be Logan. I don't know where his head's at. I don't know if this is a confidence issue. I'm obviously rooting for him. I mean, we've seen what happened when kickers and punters lose their confidence. It's a problem.
That was a reason that when we were at the open practice, I was a little bit concerned because I was watching him going through his drills. And, yeah, the upper end of what he does is A-OK. There we go. You got hang time. You've got raw distance.
Jimbo was high on the offseason in camp that he had, though. I don't know if that was just trying to build him up or what that was, but he really was. I don't know if it's you get under the lights or what.
Well, the open practice has a few more people. I'm not saying there are 10, 15,000 people there in Doak Campbell, but you got, a few thousand people watching the practice. It was just very much 50%. You know what I mean? It was like good punt, all right, then shank. And you're like, oh, buddy, that's still in there. All right.
I don't know what the other options are. I mean, they have a walk-on, or they had a walk-on. J.J. Cosentino was a great punter in high school. You got to get some use out of that kid. And I don't mean it as a person. I just mean it as a football player. I mean,
I heard, yeah. I know what you meant. But I know what it sounded like.
I know how people, I'm just saying maybe. That probably was a little harsh. I didn't mean it that way, though. I know it now. I know how it's, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, the mind of the human male is a peculiar thing. Every day we walk through a car wash of external stimuli, from the eyeballs to the ear holes, to exotic hot dog smells, to imported energy drinks. So does our mind wander? You bet it does. Wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that's why Sport Clips is Sport Clips. They make a haircut memorable, but with as little thought required from us as possible. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sweet, sweet sports on TV. So if that man in the mirror looks like an island castaway, or just has some hair that needs attention, well, you've got this solved because you know Sport Clips. And if you're already looking Sport Clips handsome, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
Can't decide between fresh steak, seafood, or wings? Well, Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway has it all. From center-cut sirloin and original pastas to fresh salads and favorites like Miller's Signature Zingers, tossed in your favorite sauce. Miller's Ale House has a full-service bar featuring more than 75 beers, plus wine and liquors. Bring the family to watch the big game inside or on their covered patio on one of over 60 HD TVs. However you come to relax, you will have a good time and great food at Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna. I-10 exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello. I don't know. You know, we could go back and look at what Coach Fisher said when I asked him specifically about James Blackman. A lot of questions are coming in now about what we know of James Blackman. And you're right. That's the great intrigue. It's with practice being as closed off as it is. I'm not taking shots. This is not a gripe. It's just a reality. Practice is closed off. There's no chance to see what he is on a daily basis. I know in the open practice, a lot of our eyes were drawn to him. He threw a pretty ball. There was another player we were drawn to, and that was the person he was throwing to often, Tamarion Terry, who looks like a young, talented player for Florida State, not unlike James Blackman. But how quickly you can pick up the offense, this is applicable, obviously, to both players. You know, I'm intrigued. Tom, another aspect of what I'm intrigued by here is how much he can depend on these receivers to make plays for him. They are now going to have to share the burden along with this offensive line of stepping up and bailing him out when he makes these decisions that could be best described or best case scenarios are 50-50 balls. They got to make plays. They got to make an inordinate number of plays to bail out their quarterback because he's going to make mistakes. He's going to miss reads. He's going to force some balls in there, and that can be difficult. That's what young quarterbacks do as they're learning what they can get away with and what they can't. They sometimes fall back on trusting their arm strength in this situation. For example, throws that he could make and get away with in high school are not throws that he can make and get away with in college. And we see this all the way up to the highest levels. Jameis Winston and every other young quarterback who's aggressive, who trusts their judgment, trusts their arm, they make decisions that they want to have back. And it takes a little while to learn when not to do that, when to check down and when not to force the issue. So he's going to make some of those throws. And when he does, on 50-50 balls, you need your guy to come down with those more often than not. They are equipped with that. They have big receivers, especially if George Campbell continues to develop. But Ramon Lane and Keith Gavin, two guys that will catch the ball in traffic, two guys that will high point it, two guys that can, I think you'd like to believe more times than not, make that play in a 50-50 ball.
Yeah, Auden Tate, you said Ramon Lane, who was great at safety last week.
And, oh, by the way, can block but not catch footballs, so thank you for the correction. Sorry about that. Meant to say Auden Tate. Yes.
If you look at the film, the highlight film from high school, which is always going to be a bread and butter, this is what I do best look, he can push the ball down the field. And I think you can count on Tate and Gavin to be those two types that are going to be reliable. It's a bit of a crapshoot for the other two receivers, the other two primary guys. Maybe DJ Matthews gets in that conversation as well with Nooney Murray and George Campbell. But you can also count on Ryan Izzo. The book is still out on what Maven Saunders is capable of doing as a pass receiver. But I think you got three good targets there. I think the tailbacks, all of them, from what we saw in the open practice and what Jimbo Fisher has talked about, not just Jacques Patrick, but Cam Akers and LeBourne and Rasul are able to catch the ball out of the backfield too. So you have some playmakers who can, catch the ball with consistency, make some big plays for you on the outside. But again, if I just look at what he does well, and I have not seen any practices in camp here, but from a high school standpoint, Blackman can take the lid off of a defense, and you have the weapons that fit that skill set. So again, just from what he does best, this isn't somebody who checks it down. This is somebody who can fire the ball down the field and give playmakers a chance to make plays. It just seems to me like the personnel is suited to give him the best possible chance to succeed early.
Well, you could run the football, and I do believe they will have opportunity right off the bat to run the football and then throw off a play action and really simplify things, maybe even take away one side of the field. I don't know. You may not have to do that, though. I don't want to make certain assumptions. This is, again, quote-unquote quick learner. So maybe you don't have to parse it so far down to where you're using a 30-year playbook. It could very well be that he's already got a pretty good handle on that. Speaking of Florida State, Knowles slipping to number 10 in the AP poll after that loss to Alabama. A lot of us wondered what exactly would be the ranking for Florida State, given that in a lot of the elements of the game, the Knowles fared very well. Looked every bit Alabama's equal in some areas, if not superior in some others. Certainly, I would tell you that I think there's no question DeAndre Francois as a passer presents more trouble for opposing teams. I know he's hurt, but than Jalen Hurts. I mean, Alabama was not going to let Jalen Hurts beat them. That's kind of a way of describing how they called plays in the second half, which was, I don't trust you to make throws. And since Florida State's going to give us such good field position constantly, and they don't seem to be much of a threat moving the ball this second half, I'm just not going to let you throw the ball. That, at some point, is going to hurt Alabama. You got to believe. Now, it's true to say this about Alabama. They won't be facing a defense as good as Florida State's the rest of the year.
No, and Hurts, obviously, you would think will progress as the season goes along, too, with the weapons. And Ridley is
he was great last year, and he'll be great this year. There's no question.
Yeah, he was a handful on Saturday. I mean, good Lord, that kid is quick as can be. But, yes, I think the other elephant in the room, no pun intended, for Alabama, is they really love the pro-style nature of the next man up at the quarterback position. And if that's the way they want to go,
in that direction, which means you got to get him now, because when that kid gets in there, if he's the pocket passer they say he is and has the mind for it to go with Alabama's run game and defense, that's going to be a bigger problem than Jalen Hurts is. And to say all of that, Jalen Hurts came a few seconds away from winning a national championship as a true freshman. Ohio State's number 2 in that same poll. And Clemson moved up to number 3. Penn State's number 4. Oklahoma number 5. Of course, a lot of this will be resolved. What a great second week of college football. Auburn and Clemson will play one another. I don't think that we're going to chalk up that as an automatic win for Clemson. And Oklahoma-Ohio State is no gimme for Ohio State. Oklahoma, can you believe, is a 7.5-point underdog there. I found that interesting. I think this is a pretty good Oklahoma team. The questions will always be on defense, but they're going to move the football, so this will be pretty interesting to see how those two play out. Again, Florida State falling down to 10 is not that big of a deal. Within the top 10, you got the rest of the way to build yourself back up if, in fact, you're worried about those kinds of things. It's too early in the year to really worry about that. Southern Cal slipped 2 spots after they played a pretty tight game against Western Michigan. Washington's number 7. Michigan moved up to number 11 after they beat Florida. Moved up to number 8, 11 spots after they beat Florida. Florida fell to number 22. I think Florida will be out of that top 25 with the quickness. Wisconsin's number 9 in the country, and they round out the top 10. Notre Dame moved into the top 25. TCU also moved into the top 25.
Yeah, the dropping of Florida State is not about the loss to Alabama. It's
about the loss of DeAndre Francois.
And you have the schedule in front of you to go. If you want to run the table and play that ultimate optimist role right now in your head. If you run the table and you win the ACC, you got nothing to worry about. Everything is set up nicely for you. But first things first, let's see if this kid can throw the ball around the lot with consistency.
It's fun, man. I just didn't think I'd be this pumped up about what we're going to get here. And, again, I don't mean that as a way of discrediting DeAndre, who's down. We're rooting for him to get healthy and get back. I would love to see a healthy competition after this season is over with those two. Competition's a great thing. You want as many of these guys going after one another, elevating each other's games as possible. I especially want it for a loyal Noel who's worked hard and never been a problem in terms of getting in trouble or anything like that. He's been great. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. That's a lot of football. James Blackman's got to be, if you're a competitor, if you're somebody who has a lot of belief in your abilities, and you kind of carry around that confidence that's almost on the verge of cocky. It makes people uneasy when they encounter you. When you meet people that confident, it's all at once buoying you if you're going to work with them, but it's also unsettling at times. If you're a guy like that, and you've got the work ethic and the maturity, and we got to find out if he does, to go with it, well, again, you didn't root for your teammate's injury, but it happened. What an opportunity.
I get it. Insert laugh track here. I get it, but it needs to be said. If I'm JJ Cosentino or I'm Bailey Hawkman, I'm working my ass off the next couple of weeks in practice
to graduate and move on.
Dude, see, this is why. I'm working my ass off because apparently, this kid is all of a sudden, the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if he has a couple of rough weeks and I work my butt off in practice and impress the coaches, I've got a greater opportunity to see the field this season now than I did before the Alabama game.
Yeah, I think Bailey Hawkman's really got to work hard. I think Bailey Hawkman should really put in the time. Now, he got hurt, so he missed out some reps, and I think that's a big reason why we're seeing James Blackman along with Blackman's ability. So we'll see. Listen, I'm not trying to be cruel here. J.J. Cosentino just got passed over by a guy that's been here for an hour.
You could have let it go.
Why? I mean, I'm honest. We're talking. It's honest dialogue here. My man got passed by a kid who's a true freshman, was just playing high school ball, who didn't enroll early.
But I would say that there is at least a decent chance that somebody else starts a football game for us, not for injury reasons, because you don't know what you're getting here, right?
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Yes, there is a possibility, and it could be for injury reasons. Again, he is as skinny as they come. I'm really worried about that aspect of it. I hope they block it up. But you're right. Yeah, he could get overwhelmed. He could become unraveled. Sure. I just don't feel like Coach Fisher would have made the decision that he did as a former quarterback himself. You know what I'm saying?
I tend to agree.
If he didn't think that the kid could handle all of this.
I tend to agree, but I just also remember the week after Ole Miss last year, and everybody said 12 was going to solve all our problems, and then we get to the point where 12's now hurt, and we're saying, well, he wasn't that great anyway. So
I never said 12 was going to solve all of our problems. I thought he was a good enough quarterback to win with. We did criticize him last year for holding the ball too long, which he still did in this game.
Talking about the immediate aftermath of Ole Miss, so like first blush reaction.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of,
But as the season went on, we learned, obviously, this kid's going to have problems because every freshman quarterback does. There's no doubt.
There's going to be a Monday show or two where we go, oof, well, all right.
Yeah, well, I just don't want to overreact, though, either. It will be very interesting. Yes, there will be times where you can see a kid is in over his head, and we'll describe it as such if necessary. But I don't want, there may be some bad games. We're dealing with some unknowns here. The biggest problem when you got a freshman quarterback isn't so much that maybe he misses a play or misses a read or misses on a throw that he should make, or something happens where he gets a little confused or flustered, and kind of starts to unravel a little bit. It's if you're creating the kinds of turnovers or causing the kinds of turnovers that change the scoreboard. That's you can make mistakes, you can miss open guys, you can maybe miss a check or something like that. But if you're giving up pick sixes, if you're turning the football over to where the other team is scoring, well, that's an awful lot to overcome.
Or frankly, if you're throwing 2 picks the way 12 did this past weekend, I mean, that's deep in your own territory, right? In the momentum of the game, when you need to string together a couple of first downs,
when you got a chance to still do that,
if for no other reason than to give your defense rest, because these sudden change situations, they take so much out of you because of the adrenaline,
Well, and he should have thrown another pick down there by the end zone
in the first half.
Yeah, so I mean, those problems were there. It is Alabama, but those are still bad throws.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Men who have other things to think about. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sweet, sweet sports on TV. Everything you need for the hair on your head and face with little thought, planning, or preparation. Watch sports, feel great, problem solved. Then when it's done, look in the mirror and say to yourself, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips Haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
At the Home Depot, free carpet installation means free carpet installation. And free includes clearing out furniture, ripping out old carpet, hauling it away, even carpeting stairs, with no hidden fees. Free installation on carpet $699 or more means free installation. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid on carpet priced $1 or more per square foot. Specialty items may be priced separately.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former BMW, Mazda, Subaru, and Toyota owners or lessees can receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
We have more cars than we had last year. You want to put some up here? Then we're going to need a crane again. Yes, that was me, Chris Kraft, up on the roof of the dealership last week looking for a place to store our overflow inventory. But this year we have the perfect storm here at Kraft Nissan because while we have over 400 cars and trucks on the ground, it is also our model year closeout. And everyone knows that the best deals on new cars come when a dealer needs to move inventory. Combine that with model year end closeout incentives and you get the perfect storm of huge savings. And my managers are threatening to keep me up on the roof until we sell a bunch of cars and trucks. So make me a reasonable offer. I'll do whatever it takes to get myself off the roof. Like 0% interest for 6 years on America's #1 selling SUV, the Nissan Rogue, and up to $5,300 in total savings on the red-hot Nissan Altima, or take up to $10,500 off MSRP on the Nissan Titan with America's best factory truck warranty, 5 years or 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper. And as always, our exclusive lifetime warranty. And they wonder why Tallahassee is a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Beef O'Brady's Burgers across America with Des Moines Triple Bacon, Green Bay's 5 Cheeser, or the Memphis Love Me Tender. All made with premium blend Angus. Pick any 2 for just $17. Beefs, bet your Angus it's good.
Attention all business owners, it's here. 97.9 ESPN Radio has developed the Triple Play, Tallahassee's most effective advertising campaign. The Triple Play combines radio, TV, and the internet, and it's brought to you only by Tallahassee's #1 sports station.
Hi, I'm Nina Davis, account executive here at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Call me at 561-8400 right now to find out more about our Triple Play advertising campaign so we can grow your business. It's football season, so everyone's listening. Call me, Nina Davis, at 561-8400 to partner your business with Tallahassee's Sports Monster.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Well, week 2 doesn't suck nearly as bad as week 2 last year did. Remember how week 1 was incredible last season, and we all were overwhelmed by the marquee matchups that seemed to litter college football, and we were all set. Hey, we're going to watch this, then we'll watch this. And then week 2, we went, well, that's the price you pay for having such a great week 1. Just a sorry week 2. Go enjoy your family. Maybe take it to the beach. There was nothing to see in week 2. But not this time. No, not this time at all. We got goodness everywhere. I mean, just think, if you're a Hurricanes fan, how proud you must be that your school has to travel to Arkansas State. What a big roadie. That's something. Nothing like playing a road game at Arkansas State to let you know where you sit.
It's an opportunity, I think, for the university to do what they need to do ahead of the big game.
My goodness. The state you must be in. The state you got to be in as an athletic department program to sign that contract. Oh, you want us to play there, do you?
You know what state they're in? Arkansas, this Saturday.
That's not the game I was talking about. Of course not. Clemson and Auburn, that's 13 versus 3, depending on where you are. That's at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Right around the same time we're playing ULM, Tom. And Oklahoma and Ohio State playing at the same time that Florida State's taking on ULM. Georgia at Notre Dame, happening at the same time that Florida State's taking on ULM. It's a toughie. 8:30, about an hour after Florida State's begun to take on ULM, you've got Stanford and Southern Cal. Another matchup there, a little 14 versus 6. There are a lot of good games, needless to say. I'm actually kind of intrigued, too, with Louisville at North Carolina. Louisville's struggling to cover these days. If you're a betting kind of guy or gal, sporting that is, Maybe you're intrigued. Maybe you want to see that game. Maybe you're going to enjoy Nebraska at Oregon. Okay.
That's weird.
It's a fun game. Okay. There's a mild intrigue with Western Michigan, speaking of which, against Michigan State. I think that's actually kind of an interesting game.
Yes.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it because it was on a Friday night. Yeah, it was on a Friday night, and I was in Atlanta. But I buckled down knowing it was a big one for our man Adazio.
Oh, buddy, and there's another one this weekend.
I knew that if BC had any shot whatsoever to go bowling, and we could cheer on from afar another 7-win or a quest for 7-win campaign for BC and Adazio, more importantly, because I don't even care about BC as much as I care about Adazio. They had to get that big road win against Northern Illinois.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
And you winning 23-20 over Northern Illinois in a war. There
What's
you
better
go.
than this? Guys being dudes.
My man. All right.
They got Wake Forest this weekend, buddy. And Vegas says it's
toss-up, could go either way.
It's a field goal game. That's what they say.
A little 50-50 action, huh? I know. I worry about it. I do. I mean, I think it's imperative that they, go 2-0? 2-0 to start this year?
2-0. Got to bank those wins. Put them away. Store them for a cold winter's day when you lose 4 straight. You know what I'm saying?
And that's invariably at BC going to happen.
They talk about 2 things. Winning 6 games overall, and the next time they're going to play in Ireland, because I'm sure they're already promoting that the way they did 2 years ago for the Friday night game we were up there for.
If you went up to that game, you know of which we speak. It was crazy how that went on. And I say fans,
every TV timeout, one of them.
Don't miss your opportunity to go to Ireland, where Boston College will take on Georgia Tech.
And they also put the drum line of the band on the actual stadium PA. Isn't that illegal? I guess nobody cares because it's Chestnut Hill.
Well, it's better than when they have the Eagles screeching in your ear, loudspeaker when they get first downs. That's a toughie.
Didn't hear much of that at all 2 years ago. They didn't score a point.
As an aside, I got to give Kevin Sumlin credit. He said at his press conference, I'm talking about Texas A&M now because we also barely glossed over this since we were so focused on the result of the Florida State game. Kevin Sumlin said he wasn't worried about what took place after, you've got a regent saying it's time for him to be fired on social media. Again, I wonder how it is the president of the university at that point doesn't call your boy into the office and say, people can see that. They can read what you're writing there on social media. What a mess. I would be so mad if I were a Texas A&M fan. After, not just that I had, a head coach that's overrated and overpaid and frequently losing games he ought not and choking away games in this case that they have absolutely salted away, but rather, that I've got Board of Regents posting on Facebook late on a Sunday night asking that he be fired. What are we doing here?
The Rose Bowl's seen a lot of things, buddy. We well know that, being there twice, and you could just take down a trip down many of those hallways. They have great photos from events of the past, be it concerts or great football games. Has it ever seen a 44-10 lead choked away quite like that? I don't think so.
34-point lead in the second half. You just say that out loud. I mean, it's hard to lose a 34-point lead in a half. I mean, it's like if somebody says, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Brewster's Millions going back.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, so,
great movie.
Yeah, right. So Richard Pryor's got to spend all of that money in order to get all this other money, and he has to have a receipt for everything that he purchases and all of that. And I don't remember what it was, but for the time, it was millions and millions and millions of dollars, obviously. And that the trick was that it's hard to do. It's hard to spend that much money, even though you think, I'll easily be able to spend all of this money on this, and this. It's hard to blow a 30-point lead in the second half. Like, literally, you could hand the ball. We did this Patriots-Falcons. Could hand the ball off up the middle and run clock on every possession.
Speaking truth.
Now, people don't do that because they don't think that way. They don't think they're about to blow a 34-point lead, and they want to remain competitive, so they don't think on 3rd and 9, I'm going to run the ball at the middle. They think I'm going to throw it. But had they thought about the number of possessions that remain in the game, you can do the math with the clock running. Tell you guys stay in bounds.
Oh, yeah, score 2 happens in a row, and you can still, if you put together a 12-play drive that includes, say, 7 runs.
Run the ball.
Yeah.
If you do want to throw it, maybe a little screen pass. Just a little something safe, you know what I'm saying? Where we're going to ensure a catch, and even if there's a tackle.
I mean, that's akin to what? Being down 21 to Georgia Tech, and they're rocking and rolling in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, that 34-point lead, I still sit in awe. He got 2 years left on his deal.
I think you have to go back, like, for example, the choke-a-doke, right? Florida State doesn't win the
Something to
game.
behold in Steve Spurrier's arrogance on full display on that afternoon.
I think that's still more impressive because you have to water down the point totals for these two teams, these two combatants out in the West Coast. So 34 is probably something more like 24 to 27.
Well, and you end up scoring. I mean, yes, it's more impressive because you're playing against a Florida defense that was good.
There you go. So those 2 points aside, yeah, if you're playing an option team like Georgia Tech, that's probably a 3-score game.
Yeah.
3-touchdown game.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as much as we talk about, and I'll move on because we don't care about those 2 teams, but it's funny that when we go through the preseason projections and we start talking about what a team might be or what this team is, we always have fun. We all have our perspective of what a team is or a coach is. And, over the years on this show, I've just talked about those that live very comfortably under the tent of suspicion. And both of those teams, UCLA and A&M, do. And it's for reasons like what we saw in a game such as this. But we've also hyper-focused on Kevin Sumlin, who's really had, like, a good season.
He's had a good season.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Good season. They've gone 8-5. After winning at least 5 games to start each of the last 3 years, they've finished 8-5. So it's just 5-loss season after 5-loss season after 5-loss season. Now you blow this lead. It's hard to imagine that they're not going to at least lose 5 games.
Man, the great thing about that game is if you had Nostradamus come tell you before it started that you're going to lose 45-44 and you're a Texas A&M fan, you'd be up 44-10 and say, Nostradamus is crazy. What the hell is he talking about?
Well,
with all this forecasting and foretelling, he doesn't know what he's talking about. We're up 44-10, Nostradamus.
And of
Good luck.
course, so much of what's credited to Nostradamus was nonsense anyhow. But you're right. I would say not only are you full of it, Nostradamus, and you got a ton of things right, and even the things wrong, and even the things you got right, we had to change the wording around, and people just love to believe in you, but you were nuttier than hell. You're really crazier now. This is 44. This is 44-10.
But he was clearly a great marketer because, everybody associates.
Oh, man.
That's a rough Monday at work if you're an A&M fan.
Mm.
But then again, if you're working in the state of Texas with, Longhorn fans and Baylor fans, all those cubicles are pretty quiet.
Texas kind of used to it these days. Baylor, I think, probably more in shock. They climbed that mountain. However, they got there, obviously, but no way you could predict that loss. You could predict that it's going to be a terrible year, but that loss, no way. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Today, that's Anytix, TIXX. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Seminole Headlines, presented by Capital City Bank. You're damn right. Catch Jeff Corey and Ira each Tuesday night from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Woohoo! Banditos!
Huh? Where?
Banditos Burritos, baby.
Very no school, he's keeping you comfortable. Very no school, you can put him to the test.
Don't let Tallahassee's hot summers get you down. Barano Heating and Air Conditioning can help in case of a breakdown, day or night. Their certified technicians can get you up and running in no time. Turn to the experts at Carrier and at Barano Heating and Air. Call 580-4029 or visit baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 057652.
Can't decide between fresh steak, seafood, or wings? Well, Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway has it all. From center cut sirloin and original pastas to fresh salads and favorites like Miller's Signature Zingers, tossed in your favorite sauce. Miller's Ale House has a full-service bar featuring more than 75 beers, plus wine and liquors. Bring the family to watch the big game inside or on their covered patio on one of over 60 HD TVs. However you come to relax, you will have a good time and great food at Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, as you sit in your car or on your stationary bicycle to victory, what do you ponder? Do you think about the fantasy trade your soon-to-be ex-best friend denied? That speech you rehearsed in the shower to confront the loud chewer at your office? Or have you forgotten what you think about? Fear not, because we have a lot on our minds, which includes a head of hair that must be maintained. Sport Clips Haircuts knows this, which is exactly why they created the ultimate haircut place for men who have other things to think about. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sweet, sweet sports on TV. Everything you need for the hair on your head and face with little thought, planning, or preparation. Watch sports, feel great, problem solved. Then when it's done, look in the mirror and say to yourself, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips Haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. This isn't where anyone expected to be after September 5th. 0-1 without DeAndre Francois for the entire season. Number 12 will be gone for the rest of the year. He'll undergo surgery today. James Blackman is the next man up. He takes the reins as the Noles look forward to Louisiana Monroe and then Miami the following week. What a game it was last night in Atlanta. Tennessee comes back from 14 down. They need 2 overtimes to squeeze out a 1-point win against Georgia Tech. Some terrible news from Alabama. The son of wide receivers coach Mike Locksley was shot and killed in Maryland over the weekend. And the NFL is monitoring Hurricane Irma's activity in the Southeast Atlantic and exploring the possibility of moving the season opener between Tampa and Miami. There's a possibility of moving that game till either Thursday or Friday or potentially a neutral site.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio, and a fine Lawn Maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but hey, man, if you do miss something, I got you. Same to you, ladies. All 3 hours going to be posted upon the conclusion of the program today, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Really all 4 hours, because at the end of this hour, we'll bleed right into Seminole headlines for a couple of hours. Good stuff. By the way, we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. You can email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Follow me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app works for your mobile devices. Quotes coming out of Florida State today as they begin life without DeAndre Francois. And the questions abound for all involved. What's that going to look like? What's possible? Keith Gavin saying today that the Noles, of course, will dedicate the remainder of the season for DeAndre Francois. And, I got to believe that all of the players in that locker room are devastated for him because he put in the work, he put in the time, he put in the effort. Nobody likes to see a guy who is as committed as DeAndre Francois was go down to injury, and yet that's what's happened. So I'm sure that's the case. But now the attention turns to what do you have to do to ensure success not only for the remainder of the season, but for your new quarterback in James Blackman. And here's the deal. He's a true freshman, and a lot will be made of that, and for good reason. It's awfully hard to make the transition as a true freshman to start at Florida State University, where expectations for quarterbacks are very, very high. Standards sometimes based on the fact that the 3 Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks are also 3 national champions, and the fact that all 3 of Florida State's Heismans came from the quarterback position. We don't take it lightly. Even the guys that didn't win one, we look back on and we hold on high, whether that's Danny Cannell or any number of other really talented guys that had great careers here because they throw a lot, they win a lot of football games, and this has, by and large, kind of been an offensive machine through the ages, even with different coaches. So quarterback has been on display prominently, whereas at other schools, for example, if you run the option, your running backs are the whole thing. And that's not the case here. Quarterback is a big damn deal. And how you handle that pressure and how you perform, well, that's hard to know when you're just a true freshman. But everything coming out of camp, everything coming out of the players' mouths up to this point, everything that Jimbo Fisher has said, leads me to believe that James Blackman, albeit a true freshman, is a cool, calm customer. Seems to relish opportunity. Ball makes sense to him. I'm going to keep repeating that. Jimbo Fisher, quote, ball just makes sense to him, is a big damn deal to me, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's the little things. Jimbo's kind of hinted at a couple things, that he's cocky. He's confident, but not in a cocky way. He's sure of himself, which is rare for somebody who's just been on campus trying to master principles. You have teammates saying that, he has, quote-unquote, the it factor, that he could be special. I think everybody's well aware that if he was timid, James Blackman, if he couldn't handle it, now wouldn't be the time to thrust some kind of praise his way because then you're setting him up to fail.
Right.
But nobody's afraid of that, it seems. Everybody is willing to talk about this player as though he is ready and capable, as if he were a redshirt sophomore or some such thing. So therein lies different expectations, and that's where the expectations are going to come from. James is in a much better position to succeed with the offensive weapons that Florida State does have. I think they'll be more committed to the run game as the season goes along as well, and they have weapons there. It appears the offensive line can block it up for the tailbacks. So he is in an advantageous position to start. People aren't afraid to praise his way. 2 good signs. I think number 3 was yesterday you're talking to Ira, and Ira relaying that Well, he's coming back after watching film with good questions to Jimbo Fisher.
That's huge,
Isn't
man.
that the thing we wait for every single time there's a new quarterback here in Tallahassee, that they're asking the right questions?
Yeah, and, people have asked several times over, by the way, when was the last time that FSU had to start a true freshman quarterback, and it was Chip Ferguson back in '85 after a bunch of injuries. Eric Llewellyn, who is a lot older than me, certainly remembers that very well and brought it up to my attention yesterday that it was only after Danny McManus and Kirk Coker and Eric Thomas all got hurt that Chip Ferguson played. Oh, by the way, he ended up winning the season-ending bowl game and was Gator Bowl MVP. It's possible for freshmen to come in and play well, especially with what you just described being the case. A great defense, talent all around you, when you're not asked to win the game. And again, I don't think he will. And I am not ignoring the fact I was very high on him yesterday on the show. I wasn't willing to throw away the season the way so many people were upon seeing DeAndre Francois' injury. I want to say this again, and it's not ever meant to disparage DeAndre Francois. I was really high on Florida State's chances to make the college football playoff and win the ACC championship, and it had nothing to do with DeAndre Francois. He wasn't the reason I was picking Florida State to have a great season. So I don't feel like, he gets hurt and now you've got nothing to play for. I feel like he gets hurt and the task becomes that much more difficult. You'd rather have more experience at quarterback and a guy that's been in the system for a while. But I don't think DeAndre Francois was so uniquely gifted that he'd be the reason. I know we always do this thing with Jameis Winston, but I didn't look at Francois that way. I just looked at him as a guy that was good and maybe had a chance to get better, but was never going to be great. And I think the team can win a lot of games with just good quarterback play. I thought they would win a lot of games this year with just good quarterback play. So to me, James Blackman could in due time get to be where by season's end he's a good quarterback for Florida State. He just can't be bad. Like, for you to achieve your goals, for you to have a chance to win 10 games and compete for an ACC title, he just can't be bad. Maybe he will be. He might have days where he might have a game where he begins to swim and he sees ghosts because he's never had to face, this level of athleticism with all the pressures that come with starting a college football game under the lights against Miami or something. It could happen. He could fall to pieces. We can't predict that, know that. But I also am not going to assume that.
It's impossible to know exactly where on, a Tuesday afternoon, just after 4 o'clock, this hurricane's going to go. And I'm not talking about Miami. I'm talking about Irma.
Sure.
It's critical that this game is played, though, for James Blackman. You don't want his first game to be under the lights. And who knows? Maybe the storm could, throw the next couple of weeks up in the air, depending upon where it goes, where it lands, and what it affects. But I think it's important this weekend that
he gets this game under his belt.
Well, that he chucks the ball around, too. I think this is a game where you want to throw the ball, figure out. When James was first in the preseason, he said something very similar to what Aaron Rodgers said about preseason football, which is, I wanted to know what I could and could not get away with.
Sure.
This opponent is going to let you get away with things that you would not normally be able to get away with. But I want to see all that stuff on film if I'm Coach Fisher, and I want to be able to correct the mistakes in process, not in necessarily result because you're playing an outgunned opponent, before we see Miami. So although when we play Miami, Louisville, NC State to a degree, you don't want him chucking the ball 35, 40 times a game.
No.
Why not this weekend, though? Throw the ball as much as you want. You got to get all the looks you can possibly get of this kid on film when it's live to at least inform you how to coach him up the week before Miami.
And if you're wondering why Tom makes certain assumptions about the opponent allowing you to do certain things, it's because he's A, right, and B, there's overwhelming proof that that's exactly what will happen here. Just a quick glance at Louisiana Monroe Warhawks football from a year ago will show you that they gave up 58 points to Auburn, who was somewhat offensively challenged a year ago. They gave up 59 points to Oklahoma. They gave up 59 points to New Mexico. It's not big-name teams. 42 points were scored against them by South Alabama. 42 points were scored against them by offensively challenged Appalachian State. We could go on and on. They gave up 30 points to Louisiana Lafayette. They gave up 34 points to Idaho. The point of this would be, if you had a pulse and played the game of football, that is to say you wore a uniform and just played football, you scored 30 or more points on Louisiana Monroe last year. Yeah, Yeah, he can do kind of what he wants to do, and it's not a knock against them. It's just that's who they are. They're not any good.
But here's an opportunity, once again, to put everything that's possible on film about this kid. I'd say normally if it was, Francois at the starting quarterback, all right, let's see what our running backs can do, because we really didn't in week 1.
No.
So let's give Cam Akers 15 touches and see what we can find out
I'd
about
still
what
give
he
him
is.
15 touches in this game. Going to have a lot of possessions.
We're going to have a lot of possessions. This is true. But then you got to get Rasul in there and Laybourne and all those guys, and you got to see what they can bring to the table. Now the priority is different. I think the priority first is to get this player to throw the ball, James Blackman, between 30 and 40 times and really find out how he progresses. I mean, put him in situations if you're Jimbo. If you can get this score in hand, put him in situations and give him calls that might not necessarily be the right call and see how he manages adversity. If he has to drop back in something that you could tell is not there, can he tell that it's not there? They do that all the time in practice where you script one thing against another.
Sure.
Just put him in adverse conditions and give him as many chucks as possible.
Let him know you're going to do it, though. I don't want to be out there confusing the hell out of my man. I'm going to tell him, hey, I may call some things here just to see how you handle it. So if you feel a certain way about that, if you don't like the look, go ahead. You have my permission. Do what you think you need to do here.
Well, yeah, check out of it. That's one thing that Jimbo said also kind of in passing in his 1,000,000 words a minute count, which was, his run checks are good too. He sees, you know what I mean? Like those little details matter so greatly. And we talk about it when it's a quarterback who's had enough time. And that's, sometimes just a redshirt season. But we say, all right, can he check to your right protections? Does he run check well? And then how does he manage his progressions? Well, at the same time that we're saying, this is a true freshman and you got to wait and see a little bit, this is also a damning schedule, a really hard schedule.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of time. We got to get up to speed. I got to know what I can trust you with and what I can't. I got to know real soon. It was funny. I called you on my way back from Atlanta on Sunday morning, and we were just kind of discussing the highs and lows of the football game and the things we liked and the things that we didn't like. And as we got to the discussion of what Florida State would have to do if, in fact, DeAndre Francois was out for the year, at that time it had not been officially announced. And we were kind of, just wondering, well, will he go to James Blackman now that push comes to shove? Will he go with a true freshman? And if he does, what will he do in terms of play calling? And over the course of that conversation, we both arrived at this. You may want to apologize to Louisiana Monroe's coach before the game. You may want to walk over there and say, listen, here's what's going to happen. In the fourth quarter, my starters are going to be in the game, and they're going to be throwing. I got to get this kid ready to play. I got Miami next week. I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at you because I got to see if he can handle it. I got to know what I can and can't call. I got to know what throws that he's comfortable with and what he's not. And that may or may not involve me throwing the ball with a 35-point lead in the fourth quarter. It's not you. It's me. I got to figure this out. It's football, baby. You're earning your paycheck today.
Yeah, don't get pissed at me when it's handshake time because I'm giving you a fair warning here, and I'll throw in third-teamer Marvin Wilson on defense, and I'll give you a little bit of a break. I know what I got in those guys. I'm not going to leave them. Let's not have Derwin James play in the second half of an FCS freaking game this year.
You're right. I didn't mean the whole team.
You're right.
I didn't mean the whole team. No, I think we're pretty good on defense. We know what we got there. Let's go deep into the rotation on defense. Yeah. I'm saying offensively, I'm going to need to know how he works with the first team a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, well into this game.
Let's get George Campbell some reps too. He was
in the when he made that catch early in the game, I was like, there it is. The Unicorn 2.
Sure.
It's happened.
No, when he made the catch, I went, ooh, wait a minute. You telling me that this is
George Campbell in here, huh?
And I didn't see him again, unfortunately.
I think it was one more.
Well, I'm sure he was on the field.
Yeah, he was on the field some more, yeah. It's a slow rebound.
All right,
yeah, he'll get there, buddy. He'll get there. I was excited to see, and it was exciting to see Izzo play well. Man, there is a little bit more drama, a little bit more intrigue. I'm going to tell you now, I didn't care about Louisiana Monroe just a week ago, and for the wrong reasons I now do, but I do. I'm very, very intrigued with what happens Saturday evening at 7:20-ish or whatever that kickoff is.
Yeah, if it stays at 7:20-ish.
Yeah.
Is there a devil-may-care attitude to this, or are the expectations still the same for you? Because obviously you could go with the route that says, well, this is a true freshman quarterback. And
right.
honestly, my expectations are lowered, so now it becomes more fun to see what kind of hell we can wreak on other opponents.
Yeah, no, you do throw a lot of care out the window because expectations, the burden of expectations, I think to some degree are removed. I mean, I don't think it's reasonable to hold this team to the same standard that you did coming into the year when they had a guy who's played a full season of football at quarterback. So it's awfully hard, and it's also unfair to say that, yeah, they should probably still win the ACC with a road game against Clemson as a true freshman quarterback. And that's already a really good Clemson defense. We'll see. I mean, No, I've lessened. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I've lessened my expectations some. I'm just not the guy that says 4 or 5 losses. No. They can go 9-3 very easily. In fact, that wouldn't be surprising at all. In fact, that's kind of where I've shifted my expectations too. I don't expect them to lose to Miami or NC State. A lot of people are saying the freshman will have a hiccup game there against one of those two teams. I don't believe that. I mean, he may not be great, but I don't think he'll do enough to lose the game, and I think our defense will do enough to win the game.
Yeah, it's important that they're both here. Again,
that helps. That helps a lot.
We had said that about NC State in general when Francois was the quarterback, but it helps that, should, again, there be no delays or anything, postponements. You got 3 straight home days.
3 straight home games, and your first road game is against Wake.
Then you get a bye week, then you get Duke.
Beautiful. You're breaking in a true freshman quarterback.
Right.
You break him in against Wake and Duke, my friends. That's what you do. With a little bye week in between for that ass. That's what you do right there. Love it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic, backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from LoCash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20. The only hard part is choosing. First, pick a starter to share. Then pick 2 entrees like grilled shrimp and a steak bowl. All for $20. Beef O'Brady's, where 2 for $20 gets you plenty.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, T-I-X-X. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Seminole Headlines, presented by Capital City Bank.
You're damn right.
Catch Jeff Corey and Ira each Tuesday night from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show.
Jeff Cameron Show.
On 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great album, great band. The Miami Hurricanes and the Alabama Crimson Tide will be playing each other at the all-new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. At the time that they play, it will not be the all-new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 2021, the Chick-fil-A kickoff game announcing today that Alabama and Miami for 2021.
I would imagine Arthur Blank and the city of Atlanta will have reached an agreement for a brand new football stadium by then, and they might be building it.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? I guess I wasn't all that surprised. It was interesting that a lot of people shared my sentiment about that stadium not being anything to write home about. Just strikes me as odd, man, that you make a stadium, that you build a stadium for $1 billion, and it's nondescript.
Well, what more can you do? I mean, if Atlanta Falcons fans haven't been to, Jerry's World, might they be a little bit more impressed?
Nope. Nope.
Well, I'll be going to Minnesota in a few weeks, and I'll see that new stadium. I'll let you know how that one is.
I went by when they were building that stadium at the time, and I can't know what it was going to look like on the inside at that time, but I was kind of wowed. But I'm sure people were wowed as they were driving downtown Atlanta and Centennial Park and that whole area and getting ready to see that stadium open. I just feel like, I guess $1 billion doesn't go as far as it used to. I expected more amenities, more bells and whistles, more some form of uniqueness that was, something that was unique to Atlanta. What I like to see from stadiums is something that captures the city, the essence of the city. Say what you want about the Marlins, but that stadium is very South Florida, and the skyline is viewed from behind home plate. It is awe-inspiring. It's beautiful. They did a good job with that. If they could get that stupid monstrosity from behind the center field fence, that'd be great. But everything else is very Miami, and it's great. There's just nothing to this stadium at all.
They showed one thing that was cool, and I will say, up the road, if you go to the new ballpark, SunTrust Park in Atlanta, they have this area where there's a Braves Hall of Fame, and they they honor Hank Aaron. I mean, it is really cool. They got fountains in there. It's very peaceful feeling.
Maybe the Falcons just have never accomplished anything, so there's nothing to really show up there.
That's probably true. It's not like they're going to
they were very close to accomplishing something this past year, Tom, but alas, still without a Super Bowl.
Maybe they could have, row 28, seat 3 in each section. They could have put, a black seat there. No, but they did have a wall, and they showed this on the television broadcast, that had a helmet for every high school in Georgia, every high school football team
I missed that. I didn't see that. All right.
That was pretty cool. But that's not Atlanta, per se. It's the
but
state
at
of
least
Georgia.
That is unique. At least that is something that represents the great state of Georgia. So, okay.
They tried in that regard.
Other than that, there was nothing.
No, it's $2 and $3 select concessions. That's going to be the thing for you people. Here's your $2 soda, free refills. Here you go.
Thanks for the 30,000 in PSLs. Sure, I appreciate you. Here's the $2 dog. I don't know. I did. I walked up and I thought the outside. I went, well, this is all right here. This is all right. Went inside. I went, this is like 1975 Houston Astrodome. Nothing. We got nothing here. We got this. Okay, this place sucks. I even thought the press box itself. No.
Really? It wasn't that much better than the Georgia Dome?
Nope.
The Georgia Dome one, remember, had like really small TVs. Did they at least have bigger TVs?
Yeah, but not a lot of TVs. Period. It's not impressive. I'm telling you.
Dude, we're never going to get credentialed for that. You know the national title game is there. If James Blackman comes in and he lights the world on fire, we need those people again.
Well, we may need him the following year because when he goes into year 2 after all this unexpected experience, he's just going to be rolling Big River, and we're going to need him to roll Big River next year because this team will lose so much on defense. So timing really couldn't be better. We've got to be thanking our lucky stars as football fans that if an injury has to happen, which we would never root for, it happens now so that Blackman can get his experience that's necessary. Then you can get the Fields kid to come in redshirt. We're all golden. We'll be back on time.
Got to feel like you lost an opportunity if you're one Malik Henry these days, right?
Well, any number of guys, Tom. I mean, that's the frustration. That's why we're in the situation that we're in truth. I mean, if DeAndre Johnson doesn't do his dumbassery, we're in a different situation as well. Who knows if Francois is ever on the field? Not to knock him, it would have been a great quarterback race, and Malik Henry too. You had a situation set up where Malik Henry and DeAndre Francois and DeAndre Johnson would have been going to war in camp, and you want competition, and it could have been a good one. Instead, you don't get that at all, and Florida State finds themselves in a bind. Hey, look, there's just no doubt at this juncture, you have to say it for what it is. They whiffed on J.J. Cosentino. He was largely just a risk based on size, based on maybe potential as an athlete to become a quarterback. But he didn't have to throw a lot in high school, so Jimbo threw a flyer on him. It didn't work out. I mean, the truth is, if a true freshman can be here for like an hour and ascend to second string and now start over a fourth-year junior, well, then that guy – you whiffed. You whiffed on him. And you couldn't have expected. It's not your fault on the other two. One got hurt and the other one got in trouble. And the other kid, I don't know what to say about Malik other than immaturity issues and some things like that. But
yeah, there were some warning signs on that one.
There
but
were.
You took the risk there
anyway.
Because
of the talent.
The one thing I want to say to caution, like the James Blackman coronation party, is that a lot of people tend to fall in love with arm strength.
He's got plenty of it.
See Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler's been nothing more than a serviceable NFL quarterback with some good years, but more bad than good years. But he keeps on getting chances because he's got a cannon of an arm, and he can make throws that take your breath away.
Yeah.
But when it comes to consistency, it's not there. I take solace in that Jimbo is giving clues that James Blackman has more than that. He's got a quarterback's mind. I think he has
more than that based on what we're hearing from the head coach, sure.
But the number one talking point is he throws a pretty ball. And I'm like, well, that's great. That's fine. But at the same time, you got to do a whole hell of a lot more.
Jay Cutler was really good in college. I'm just letting you know, man. Vanderbilt won a lot of games for no damn reason other than Jay Cutler could make throws that college kids couldn't defend.
Man, you know what I'm talking about, though.
I'm just saying. Hey, man.
Okay.
Sometimes just throwing a pretty ball, an accurate ball, an anticipatory throw with a big arm can take you an awful long way.
It can in college, yes, but...
Yeah. I don't care what he does at the next level. I care about right here, right now.
You understand exactly what I was saying.
I
was using the analogy and taking it to college. I wasn't saying Jay Cutler, the college player, is what James Blackman's going to be.
What I'm telling you is that he could be, and even better. I have faith that young man's going to grow by leaps and bounds and quickly. I'm not telling you he comes out here in the next 2 weeks and we go, well, my God, why didn't we start the year with him? I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is where – it was funny because Ira and I were talking about this, and some people that have emailed have said, man, your expectations for this kid are too high. Freshman growing pains, without question, they're going to happen. And when they happen to freshmen, they happen on a stage that everybody can see, and you're kind of like, oh, it's a quarterback, that's tough. The reason I made the prediction that I did yesterday has to do more with the amount of games he's going to get to play. So the fact is he could be bad early in his career, or he could have some hiccups at the very least. That's kind of more what I think will happen. But it does set up nice if you survive Miami and NC State, both home games. Wake and Duke for your roadies. Louisville is going to present Florida State with a problem because you're going to have to score some points to beat them because you can't hold them down completely. But Louisville's defense, I'm not all that concerned about. So even Louisville, you think the kid can have some success there, and it's also a home game. I'd probably be more concerned with Boston College defense than I would be Louisville's to some degree, and he goes on the road on a Friday night up there, right?
The old
13-10
got
special. Something for him, you know what I mean? I don't worry about Syracuse. Really, it's the Clemson game, which now is you're going to ask a true freshman to go up there and play in that environment, and they'll be crazed, and they'll be good. Their defense is already good. Yeah, that may be a bit much now to ask that kid to do. That's where you would really, really want DeAndre, because he's experienced and he can handle the pressure of those moments. He's gone through it. But I just feel like by season's end, he will have already shown us an awful lot if he's not hurt, if he hasn't been broken in half, because he's so skinny. And that's more than anything else. People say, what are you afraid of? I'm not afraid about mistakes because I think they can live through that. Hell, we made a gazillion mistakes against Alabama, so much so that Alabama had the ball inside Florida State's 50 on 5 consecutive possessions. Between special teams blunders and DeAndre Francois' sorry interceptions, they were a mess, and yet the defense held up. So I don't worry about the freshman mistakes as long as they're not the pick six variety.
Is 9-3 with signs of improvement from James Blackman, signs of a successful season now?
Yes, very.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Because when people hear you talking about what James Blackman can be, I can hear it in my head too. They're thinking you're saying, man, listen, it'll be a failure if we lose 3 games with this kid
I don't
at the
think
helm.
so.
This is a team that can win the ACC and go back to the college football playoff right here, right now with this kid, and that sounds like what the expectations are just when you get on a roll talking about the kid. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, no, I'm talking him up because I think he's good. I'm talking him up because the head coach is talking him up, who doesn't talk up quarterbacks if he doesn't think they can play. So I think there's been a couple of signs that he's very excited about the kid, not the least of which is that he chose to start him as a true freshman when he didn't have to. But no. To be sure, I think 9-3 would be a very good season, given that you already have a loss, and then B, you're starting a freshman the rest of the way. That would mean you'd only lose 2 more games. I would feel very good about that season. And by the way, if they go 9-3, he's starting next year. Period. We don't need to talk about some sort of competition. It's over. It's over. They go 9-3. It's over.
It's important though to hear that other side of the coin.
Unless they're winning games 6-3 and it's all defensive oriented and that's it,
Or my man Cam Akers is averaging between $120 and $150 a game.
He could. He very well could. We'll see. He's got to stay on the field, and the only way he can stay on the field is if he gets a lot better at pass protection, because I can tell you that kid needs pass protection.
Yes, details need to be more sound, but everything outside of the details is elite already.
I want to see my man Amir Rasul out there this weekend. I want to see it, man. Hey, so what's going on here? I got to do something, don't I? Oh, it's the last half hour of the workday, right? That's a good thing, and that means that it's time to hit the sounder for a little Seventh Hill Taproom love.
Count 'em up, pour 'em out.
I'll just have a cup of coffee. There it is.
It's Beer 30, brought to you by the Seventh Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
It's actually Tapped Out Tuesday from our friends at Seventh Hill Tap Room. That's a great thing. Tapped Out Tuesday is back. $3 drafts from 7 to close this week. They're going to have Green Flash Spanish Trampoline IPA. That sounds good. Infinite Into the Dark Roast Imperial Coffee Stout. That sounds better.
Always good.
That's damn awesome. And Lake Tribe here locally, right? Satsuma Wheat.
Yeah, the Imperial Stout is what I had last week for the Man Cave show, and I can tell you that it was delicious. No Man Cave show this week. It'll be back next week, weather permitting, schedule permitting, and all that kind of stuff. But one thing to remind you folks as you make your preparations in case a storm heads this way.
Got to get your beer.
Happy hour from 4 to 7, 32-ounce canned crowlers. Buy one, get one half off. Come on, man. You got to make sure the fridge is stocked in all ways, not just, the basic waterway.
I do like $3 drafts, 7 to close. That won't hurt your feelings. Our thanks to the Seventh Hill Tap Room for coming on board. And Beer 30 is going to be a hallmark of this here show. We're going to talk about it all the time because it's really good. Seventh Hill Tap Room, right underneath the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, where you can always find the newest and freshest Florida craft beer. That's a good thing. Jeff Cameron Show continues on in a moment. 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Decades of expertise, no hassle payouts, and no fine print. You'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code RADIO to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-2387 or visit mybookie.ag to open an account. That's 844-900-BETS or go online to mybookie.ag and use promo code RADIO. Win with the best only at MyBookie. Sign up today. And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, the mind of the human male is a peculiar thing. Every day we walk through a car wash of external stimuli, from the eyeballs to the ear holes, to exotic hot dog smells, to imported energy drinks. So does our mind wander? You bet it does. Wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that's why Sport Clips is Sport Clips. They make a haircut memorable, but with as little thought required from us as possible. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sweet, sweet sports on TV. So if that man in the mirror looks like an island castaway, or just has some hair that needs attention, well, you've got this solved because you know Sport Clips. And if you're already looking Sport Clips handsome, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he wants it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
We have more cars than we had last year. You want to put some up here? Then we're going to need a crane again.
Yes, that was me, Chris Kraft, up on the roof of the dealership last week looking for a place to store our overflow inventory. But this year we have the perfect storm here at Kraft Nissan because while we have over 400 cars and trucks on the ground, it is also our model year closeout. And everyone knows that the best deals on new cars come when a dealer needs to move inventory. Combine that with model year end closeout incentives and you get the perfect storm of huge savings. And my managers are threatening to keep me up on the roof until we sell a bunch of cars and trucks. So make me a reasonable offer. I'll do whatever it takes to get myself off the roof. Like 0% interest for 6 years on America's #1 selling SUV, the Nissan Rogue, and up to $5,300 in total savings on the red-hot Nissan Altima, or take up to $10,500 off MSRP on the Nissan Titan with America's best factory truck warranty, 5 years or 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper. And as always, our exclusive lifetime warranty. And they wonder why Tallahassee is a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Do you like video games, live music, dancing, and having fun with your friends? Swing by the new Fire Betty's, located in Midtown on Thomasville Road and 5th Avenue. Not only can you quench your thirst, but now Fire Betty's offers a new fun food menu as well. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. There's something fun going on every night, from trivia on Wednesdays to live music on Fridays, hospitality nights on Thursdays, and unique music video DJ Saturdays. Come take a trip down memory lane and make some new ones too. Happy hour at Fire Betty's is Tuesday through Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. And don't forget about Sunday Fun Day with the NFL Red Zone, liquid brunch and drink specials all day, starting at 3 p.m. For catering or private parties, message Fire Betty's on Facebook.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. This isn't where anyone expected to be after September 5th. 0-1 without DeAndre Francois for the entire season. Number 12 will be gone for the rest of the year. He'll undergo surgery today. James Blackman is the next man up. He takes the reins as the Noles look forward to Louisiana Monroe and then Miami the following week. What a game it was last night in Atlanta. Tennessee comes back from 14 down. They need 2 overtimes to squeeze out a 1-point win against Georgia Tech. Some terrible news from Alabama. The son of wide receivers coach Mike Locksley was shot and killed in Maryland over the weekend. And the NFL is monitoring Hurricane Irma's activity in the Southeast Atlantic and exploring the possibility of moving the season opener between Tampa and Miami. There's a possibility of moving that game till either Thursday or Friday or potentially a neutral site.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
I'm Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Well, we say wrapping it up. You got 2 more hours of content coming your way. Hey, now. It's little headlines coming up here in just a few minutes, and I'll sign off, and I'll sign right back on. Me and the boys this morning gathering to talk about what was and what could still be. There is some disagreement there. That seems to be the topic du jour for Seminole fans across the board right now. What's reasonable, as we talked about on today's show with Tom and myself, is what's reasonable to expect from a true freshman. And that's the hardest thing in the world to know, and I don't think you can know. That's different with every kid. It's different with every team, with the surrounding pieces. It's hard to know. You know, obviously what's reasonable to expect a freshman to do at a place like Tulane is a lot different than what you would expect at Florida State, because Florida State has arguably the best defense in the country. They're going to be in a position, obviously, to help a freshman out in a way that smaller schools and schools with less talent around said freshmen can.
Yeah, once again, and this offense has more pieces than, you know, in some recent years to help a true freshman. It's got taller targets on the edges. It's got a tight end who is, a rookie's best friend or a freshman's best friend.
Quarterback's best friend.
Really, really good. Yeah, quarterback's best friend, period. And an offensive line that we think has a fighting chance to be pretty good this season through one game, but that first test was passed. That was not a C. That was a B or a B+ performance at minimum.
It's a point that I'll make frequently when talking with people about this. I'll make it on this show. I make it on Seminole Headlines today. I made it with my dad last night on the phone. I just really believe this offensive line is going to block better in terms of the run game. And that really is something that goes an awful long way in setting up makeable plays, throwable balls. I mean, things that freshmen can accomplish. I mean, if you throw a good ball, and he does, period, and you minimize the reads and you throw off a play action, if you're able to establish a run game, that always works. That just does. I mean, you see teams in the NFL live on that sometimes. I mean, granted, the routes are a little bit more complex, but, basically teams that can establish the run, you go back to, and again, this is a big leap, but you go back to Ben Roethlisberger's first year in the National Football League as a rookie. That's why I'm using the comparison. He gets to that league out of Miami of Ohio, so it's a similar thing, right? Coming from Miami of Ohio to the NFL, or coming from high school to big-time college football, and they don't ask him to do anything. They say, hand the ball off to that huge son of a bitch behind you. We're going to pound the rock. You got a really good tight end and 2 very talented receivers, but we've got a running game for days and a defense that's the envy of the league. You're going to throw off a play action, Ben. We think it'll work out. We're going to ask you to throw the ball 17 times a game, and 6 of those are screen passes. There it is. There's your formula. I think you're going to see a game called for a kid that allows him to grow slowly. It's very interesting. In many ways, the intrigue of this season just got heightened for all the wrong reasons. Nobody wants to see your starting quarterback get hurt. Nobody wants a kid to get hurt, period. But it happened, and we're moving on now, and that's all you can do, and the team has to do that. And Coach Fisher will speak in those terms privately to his team. He doesn't want to appear to be harsh publicly because obviously he does care for the kid that got hurt, and he does feel bad about that. But you can't lament that and sit around in self-wallow in pity and just you got to go move forward. They're going to play the rest of these games.
Yeah, once again, from earlier, don't run to the right side all that often, and don't ask the two offensive linemen on the right to make any plays out in space if you don't have to. Maybe screen passes, maybe. But if you can run right up the middle, if you can call the game like that with this stable of backs led by another true freshman, man, there is more, again, for this player around him than there has been the last couple of seasons for the quarterbacks we've had the last couple of seasons. This is as good of a situation you can put a true freshman in as there's been since, 2013 probably. And he was redshirt, I get you. I'm just talking about weapons around him, line in front of him.
Well, right, and again, I'll say I'm kind of excited about the idea of a kid being allowed to grow. Now, you might say right off the bat, does he get that opportunity with Miami looming large? First of all, knock on wood here, folks. We'll see about that Miami game. I don't know just yet in terms of what's going to happen with the weather. And again, we're all just holding our breath here, but we'll see if that's even going to happen. But Miami's breaking in a quarterback too and having to learn and come on the road. So again, I don't think it's a game where even if you're looking ahead to past this weekend's game, which Florida State could win if they didn't throw a single pass, you would say to yourself about that, it's still not going to be a game where you're asking James Blackman to throw for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. You're not. He might, but you're not going to ask him to do that. You're going to basically say our defense can dominate the day. What has to radically alter now is how you perform on special teams, because that you can't overcome with a true freshman at quarterback. If you play much better on special teams to go with a dominant defense, then you can be average on offense, and it's good enough to win a lot of games. The question becomes, is it good enough to win on the road against Clemson? Is it good enough to beat Louisville in October? Well, that I don't know, and we'll tackle that when we get there, and that's a little ways off. Right now, you got to find a way to win this week. Clearly they will. Then you got to beat Miami and NC State, which a true freshman, if he has a day where he gets overwhelmed, could cost you the game. So let's see what he looks like Saturday. Let's talk about each week as it comes along. I'm just saying I'm not willing to throw away the season because I think there's a lot of pieces in play here that are going to help that kid succeed.
I totally understand that sports has its place, but there is also the pall of uncertainty here too, beyond the obvious, which is the humanitarian, human reason.
Well, right.
For
yeah.
what Hurricane Irma could bring, but you just wonder what the season is going to look like from a schedule standpoint. Because even if it doesn't phase Tallahassee, projections have a Category 5 hurricane that today hit 180-mile-an-hour winds is going to hit Miami. I mean, if it hits Miami, then their schedule gets thrown.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Loop.
Yeah, I have no idea if we're going to play the Miami game as scheduled. Some have emailed and asked because they are looking ahead. And, yes, we understand everybody cares more about the human cost and all of the things that are involved with that than they do a football game. That's a given, folks. We don't have to talk down. Everybody understands that. What I would say is you may end up having to know that a lot sooner than later.
Correct.
So, you may know that a good week out. So the only thing to say about that regarding what other possibilities there are, oddly enough, Miami's bye week is the same week as Florida State's. If you're wondering about it logistically, it's after the Wake Forest game. There's a distinct possibility that they could move it to there just to be safe, just to keep all parties involved safe, just to make it, so that people aren't sitting there worrying about a damn football game.
Well, what you don't want is what LSU and Florida went through last year, which is uncertainty, and then there's a blanking match, in the media between the two athletic departments, athletic directors, coaching staffs, and players. You don't need that. You can avoid all of that early on if you're proactive. And by the time this thing gets to, Thursday, I think we'll have a pretty good idea of where the hurricane's going to make landfall in South Florida at the least. And then from there we can make some decisions. But, that really, for the NFL, for college, for our teams involved in both.
Yeah, everybody's wondering.
The schedule thing is just completely up in the air.
It's a reality. Everybody's kind of – and it's funny in this sense that obviously you can concern for your friends and your family, and even those you don't know in South Florida, and sports is on the back burner given – but even planning here in Tallahassee about what the contingency plans are. I'm not talking about football now. I'm just talking about what we would do, what people who work and live in this city would do as this thing gets closer and closer.
Yeah, we have to prepare as a station. We have FCC obligations, and we've already met 2 of them today ahead of time. We're trying to stay proactive with this thing, but let's just say it's in the Gulf heading north with 150 to 180 mile-an-hour winds.
Not good.
Buddy,
Yep.
We'll be looking at the station after it makes landfall.
Right,
because
right.
I'll be in Atlanta. That's where I'm going.
And even then, yeah. So there'll be plenty of things to talk about there. We'll hold our breath and wish best for everybody. All right, let's do this. Well, before we get to probables, you know what we got to do? Cue it up, man.
Ready for a cold one? Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
Kind of excited about what's on tap. We got a little double down on what's on tap. Hard Knocks tonight, the final one of the season. And unfortunately, it will be a Hard Knocks in which you see Riley Bulla told to have a good day. He's gone, as we now know. That seemed likely.
We already knew that because even in week 2 and week 3, when they're doing the Hard Knocks episodes,
they're showing you that he's missing. Yeah.
Well, and he's getting in garbage time. The garbage time of garbage time. He's not competing with Beckwith, who comes and shoots up the depth chart right away, and Glanton is there too to go along with the 3 linebackers they already had planned for. So, I mean, how many you're really realistically taking if you're Tampa? 7? That's just it was a numbers game all along. Nice story. And
he signed with the practice squad.
And yeah, exactly. So that means that if somebody gets hurt, maybe he gets called up and he's a special teamer. But until he gets a little bit bigger, I don't know that he's doing anything more than what the coaching staff said an episode ago, which was, boy, you really like everything about him. He's just not fast enough.
Well, that's the other thing. I don't think the size is as much a problem as the speed, lack thereof. A lot of lack of speed. So the other thing I would say, too, is kind of leads us into our next segment in a second. I'll be watching some baseball, too. Our thanks to Proof Brewing Company for coming on board to sponsor What's on Tap. Proof Brewing Company and For the Table Hospitality present the 5th Annual Florida Tap Invitational, September 29th and 30th, one of North Florida's largest 2-day beer festivals. VIP and general admission tickets are indeed available online at FloridaTapInvitational.com. That's a good thing.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Well done, sir. You're getting good at these things. Boy, the Pirates just beat the brakes off the Cubs last night. What a humiliating, jarring, probably soul-shattering defeat for the Cubs, who were shut out 12-0. Could have been a lot worse. Pirates decided to really lay off the gas there. Kyle Hendricks will look to get it started for the Cubs tonight and avoid another humiliating loss at the hands of the Pirates. Stephen Brault will pitch for the Pirates, hoping to hand the Cubs yet another resounding defeat at the hands of the Buccos. Yankees, Orioles, CC Sabathia will go against Jeremy Hellickson. Hey, as an aside, before I even get to this, I think Matt Harvey's starting for the Mets on short rest tonight. That is so New York Mets baseball.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he did only throw 2 innings on Saturday and give up 7 runs.
Royals, Tigers, Jason Vargas, Anibal Sanchez. Can't help yourself. Brewers, Reds, Zach Davies, Robert Stevenson. That fat-ass Bartolo Colon is going to start another baseball game. Unbelievable. Going for the Twins tonight. And in August, had a 3.40 and 6 starts. What are we doing
He's
here,
in the thick
man?
of a pennant race, man.
Unbelievable. Jake Odorizzi goes for the Rays. He always does. Phillies, Mets. Ben Lively, Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom going tonight. Jays, Red Sox, Marco Estrada, Eduardo Rodriguez. Nationals, Marlins, Steven Strasburg. Despaigne going for the Marlins. Rangers, Braves, Miguel Gonzalez, Luis Gohara. Indians, White Sox, Denny Salazar, David Holmberg. Giants, Rockies, Ty Blatch, Tyler Chatwood. Angels, A's, Garrett Richards, Kendall Graveman. D-backs, Dodgers, full slate tonight, folks. Zach Greinke and Hyun-Ring Yu going for the Dodgers. Astros, Mariners, Justin Verlander, still seems weird to say. Ariel Miranda. Finally, close out the night. Unbelievable. You thought there's that many teams?
Oh, I was like, good Lord. We got the AAA games, too?
Cards, Padres. Michael Wacha, Travis Wood. And that's a look at those, the many that shall reside on the bump tonight. Week flies by, man. I forget about how in season when you have games like you had late last night, you go to bed, you wake up a little bleary-eyed, you think, how in the hell did Tennessee win that game? How does Georgia Tech rush for 900 yards and lose that game? Then you laugh at Paul Johnson because screw him. And then you get up and you talk about a few baseball games, a couple things, but then NFL football's on Thursday, and next thing you know, it's like, we're the weekend's upon us. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's with Hard Knocks tonight, too, that really speeds up the week. And the first NFL Thursday night game, they're usually pretty crappy the rest of the season. But the first one is just fine because it doesn't matter what day you start the year. You're coming off a preseason week 4 where you don't play a game. So excited about Thursday. Then college football Thursday returns to the ranks.
Man, it's happening.
Got a doubleheader on Monday night starting at 6:55.
I actually care deeply about the ULM game when admittedly, even though it was the home opener, I was completely indifferent.
A lot of things going on. At
7 o'clock at that slate of
buddy.
time. A lot
of games.
Ton of good ones.
A lot of good ones.
Yeah, some numbers out there that interest me.
Yeah. Might need many TVs.
Yeah, maybe. Luckily, the press box has those and some others.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I'm just saying.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, lots of them. Good work out of you, sir. Good work out of Matthew. To those that called and or listened, surely do appreciate it. Hey, stay on board. Coming up next, Seminole Headlines on 97.9 ESPN Radio.